Hey, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hanging On to Hope podcast.
I'm Brenda J.
And I'm Karen Wonder.
And we are HangingOnToHope.org.
This podcast is intended as educational and is not psychological or medical advice. Always consult a professional when needed, and we disclaim any liability in connection with the instruction, information, or advice given.
Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hanging On to Hope podcast. This is Brenda J. Today, we have Lesley Cain on the show. Lesley's a master certified health coach, a certified trauma support specialist, and a narcissist abuse survivor. I met Lesley at Celebrate Recovery, and she mentioned her podcast, The Vibrant Survivor, which she helps survivors heal after narcissistic abuse. So welcome to the show, Lesley.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Hi, this is Karen. It's so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, Karen.
I love your glasses, by the way. Our listeners can't see them, but she's got some really nice glasses.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, since we're heading into 2025, I thought we could talk about 10 healthy ways you can prepare for a vibrant new year as an abuse survivor. So the first one, number one, is start now.
Start now. Don't wait. It's so easy to, especially if you have been in a toxic situation or you're currently in one or you're actively engaged with toxic individuals. It can be easy to beat yourself up or get down about the relationship not being what you thought it was or not working out the way that you had hoped it would, or just even say, for example, in my case, like letting people into my life unchecked and then really kind of getting my butt handed to me when they revealed themselves and their true character. It's kind of a smackdown in a way. And it's so easy to forget about everybody else. You can wallow in your own self-blaming and shaming on your own to the point where you don't do anything. And the new year is upon us and it's coming up quickly. And I think that starting now to plan ahead can really get some momentum going into the new year so that when January 1st comes around, you're not just trying to kind of stand up out of the blocks. You're already in flow. You're already starting to practice new habits, healthy habits that are going to move you forward on your healing journey instead of dwelling and spiraling about all the stuff that happened this year or in the past or I turned right when I should have turned left type things and doing the self-blaming and shaming that can really keep you in a holding pattern and not moving forward and getting to where you want and need to be.
That's good.
Okay. Number two is practice setting and enforcing boundaries, which you kind of already talked about.
Practice makes perfect. No,
yeah.
It's not, I'm kidding. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And it really is about the practice, showing up and applying the things that you've learned. And I think applying things like putting timestamps on interactions, whether they're in person or it's an invite or whatever the case is, and practicing creative ways of declining invitations or declining discussions of certain topics that you know that are not healthy for you.
Yeah, that's good. So we're going to move on to number 3. It's reflect on your health and wellness from 2024. I like this. I like this one.
Yes. And you know what? That can be challenging too. At least I'm noticing that for myself. One, because we're so busy. Yeah. There's so much going on and we're on this like sprint to the end of 2024
went fast.
and going into a new year. And I also think that for all the times that maybe we didn't track this or we weren't really on point with that, whether it's our diet, our lifestyle, our mindset, or our exercise, we can again like beat ourselves up. And it's so easy to beat yourself up when you haven't hit your marks or hit your goals, or you haven't maybe been tracking consistently. And one of the things that I've been learning is that it's one thing to track and all of that, but I need to look at the data. And even the fact that maybe there were some gaps or some inconsistencies in my tracking of my health and wellness. Okay, why? Like, what was going on at that time? Were we traveling? Were we dropping our daughter off at college? What was going on? Was
Yeah.
it a crazy time at work? Were you saying yes to things that maybe you shouldn't have said yes to and put too much on your plate? And maybe you were overwhelmed, overloaded, and then the health and wellness fell by the wayside?
I
Or
think
you,
Karen and I both went through a lot of stress in 2024 that affected our health. So I think 2025 is going to be better for both of us. But to reflect on it, I don't want to be too hard on myself. I'm just going to try to reflect on it, just like you said. Just like you said.
it's good information though, like
Mhm.
looking to see, okay, how did I feel on this day? Or what was my mood on this day? Okay, well, what was I eating? How much water did I drink? Did I work out that day? What kinds of things did I do to practice self-care? Even if not the day, the week. What did I do to practice self-care? How did I treat myself? And those can be things that we not only need to track, but actually go back and look at, because that can tell us a lot about how we need to course correct going
Yeah.
forward.
I need to start writing stuff down more. That's my problem. I try to keep it all in my mind, and then I'm like, I have no idea. Kidding.
That helps to get
I'm
it
not
out.
kidding, but I'm kidding. Karen, I'm getting jealous of Karen because she writes stuff down. I don't know why I don't.
So number 4 was get a 2025 planner.
So this podcast was for me, huh? You wrote. Come
Oh
on,
yeah.
Brenda.
Yes. Like some people do all of their planning and scheduling digitally, and some people love paper. I use a hybrid system where I have a paper
Yeah,
planner, but I also
me
do
too.
digital planning. But you just want a system. And especially as a trauma survivor, like trauma will scramble your brain
Hmm.
and have you not thinking clearly and in survival mode and panicking. And so I know for me personally, like I love a lot of structure and I need to lay things out and know what's going on and also have things to look forward to as well. But I think getting a planner, not waiting again till January 1st, but getting it now and even start populating it, start scheduling those appointments or booking out into the new year so that you can also hit the ground running in that way. Cause you're not just like kind of cracking open the
Yeah.
fresh planner or just kind of, okay, it's the first. So now what? But you're already in motion and finding something, a system or a planner that lights you up and that you can show up for and be consistent with.
Yeah, I love the one on my phone because then you can put an alert in there. But then it's nice because we have so much stress in our life already. So once we put it in our phone, we can just let it go. That's it. You don't need to think about it
Yeah.
anymore.
We
I
can
like
let it
number
go,
5.
but we can't let those phones go, right?
No, I tried to. I went to Pennsylvania. I took a break from my phone. So that was really nice.
Ooh,
I like number
good.
5, get new journals, because I'm always asking for that. I didn't ask them this year. I have to remind them. Hopefully they know that I like to write journals. So I usually ask them for that for Christmas, to get a nice journal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
journaler, so I
Oh,
just
that's
don't know what to do
awesome.
with all my journals because I have so many journals, and it's like I don't really want to throw them away because I have this project I started where I've been going back and reading my old journals and seeing the God stops in them because I did this Bible study by Beth Moore, and I thought I want to go and finish doing that. So sometimes it's really therapeutic to read your old journals too because you see the growth. That there's a lot of things we forget about. It's like, oh yeah, and to me it's encouraging to read my old journals. It helps me see what I've come through that you kind of forget about.
And
I agree.
I'm going to start journaling more.
I'll get you a journal for
I only
Christmas.
journaled a little bit when I got out of the abusive marriage, just to make sure I had everything documented for court and all that. But on a daily basis, I don't. I spend a lot of time with God and meditating and that, but I do need to journal more. So I feel really guilty about that part.
No, don't feel guilty because it's not for everyone, but
Yeah.
it's not something you need to feel guilty about. I
It's so
enjoy it. For me, it's just a therapeutic thing.
Mine will be in code language because I don't like to write all the
Just take shorthand.
like 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make little scribbles.
Yeah. So number 5 was get new journals. Did you want to add anything?
I just want to say that that's so great that you did that. You need to document what has happened to you. It can be a way to just get it out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but also to be able to stay grounded in reality. Like
Yeah.
this is what
Yes.
happened.
Right.
Yes.
You're literally doing that, as well as being able to have supporting documentation if
Hmm.
and when you need it
Right.
for, say, a court or mediation situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's great that you did that.
And
And
plus, that helps you because the whole believing God is based on seeing what God has done for you so that you can trust him in the future. And it really did that for me because sometimes you look back and like, I don't know. And then you start reading your journals and you see over and over and over, even at the time you may not have seen it. Now you're like, oh, that's so obvious to me now that God was right there. He gave me that verse, or I met this person or something that makes you realize, oh, God was there all along. It's just, you don't always see it at the time. And for me, my journals help me see that.
yeah. Or how much you've, like you said, how much you've grown.
Yeah.
And I've done that too, where I've flipped back through some of my journals, like even from, 4 or 5 years ago, like that time frame, like that 2017 to 2019 time frame when things really kind of blew up
Mhm.
for me. Looking back at those entries and what I wrote and documented, and just seeing how much progress, how far I've come. And it's like a completely different person. So I
Yeah.
think that's great. I also, one of the things that I wanted to add is everybody's thinking about, or maybe not thinking about yet, but at some point you're going to look at what my goals are for the new year, and what do I want to do in the new year. One of the things that I've learned is that is just as important, if not more, for me to determine who I want to become, and not just like what I want to do or what I
Yeah.
want to achieve, but who I want to become as a person. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that I realized when I went back and looked at the data from my current planner, because along the way I have opportunities to kind of do praise reports or do updates or celebrate wins, and also to rechart the areas of wellness. Like if you think about a wellness wheel that it's segmented, it's spiritual, physical, emotional, intellectual, environmental, occupational, social, and there's one more, financial. That was the other one that I was forgetting. And as I went back and looked at information, what I realized was I hadn't been including some of the things that were most important to me. So one of the journals that I picked up was a language journal, because I want to get back into my foreign languages. I love languages and travel. And so I actually ordered a foreign language journal as well that I'm going to crack open in the new year. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
excited
think
about
the
that.
biggest regret I have about not journaling is writing down all like when a miracle happens and God does
Yeah.
this thing that was a miracle and then I didn't write it down. And then
Mhm.
when I'm having self-hatred or doubting myself, I forget about all the things that he did for me because I didn't write them down. I'd at least like to start 2025 writing down.
Start a gratitude journal. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a regular journal, but then I have a gratitude journal. And sometimes I just try to write 3 things each day
I
that you
was
can be
doing
grateful
that.
for.
Yeah, I was doing that, but I mean more like when those miracles happen and I don't write them down and I'm like,
But
wait a
that's
minute.
something you can write in the gratitude journal.
Okay, that's
It's
what I'm
just,
gonna do.
you don't have to write a lot, but just
She's helping me.
because I go through phases where I do it, and I notice when I write in my gratitude journal, my attitude is better. It's a supernatural thing, I think. Like, God talks about us being grateful, and if I don't take the time to do it, I don't know. I just notice my attitude is different when I even just take the time to write 3 things.
And I think my attitude was a lot better when I did mine too.
Yeah.
Well, there is science to support that you can change your brain.
Yeah. I've seen it happen in my own brain before.
Yeah.
I'm a big brain person. All right. So number 6 is schedule counseling or therapy sessions. So I didn't know when I read this, if you meant schedule them ahead of time, or if you're not seeing a therapist yet, you need to get one. I don't know. You can go ahead and have whatever you want.
Whatever is needed. Sometimes we need more help. Like there's a time and a season for therapy, for counseling. There's a time and a season for coaching. And depending on where you are on your healing journey, and there's no shame or at all in going to counseling or going to therapy. And what's most important is that you find the one that will work for you. And even if that means trying to go with a couple people, like, trying different ones, it's okay. I've done that before. Say, for example, I had a situation that happened recently that triggered some of those feelings from some of my past experiences. And that had me going right back to my counselor to kind of unpack and process some of those things. And she's somebody who literally saw me right after the murders and really helped me a lot, like from that, me being in a complete panic and being in flight and sometimes freeze mode, but being in kind of flight mode.
Mhm.
And so I called her and reached out for an appointment to specifically work on something that had come up more recently, but that also triggered some of those old things. So there's no shame in that. And I think being proactive about it and putting it on the calendar, then, you've got that to look forward to and that commitment to yourself to work through what you need to work through so that you can show up to whatever situations, whether it's work or your family, your other relationships, as your best self.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's important.
Yeah, I had saw mine in December, my therapist, and then when she said, "Do you want to reschedule before the new year?" And I'm like, "No, nothing's going to happen in the next few weeks." And then I found that I wanted to talk to her because I had found out something that about my ex-husband, and just in the last week. I won't disclose it on air, but
That's okay.
I was like, I really want to talk to her. But I didn't yet. So anyway, if you're listening, Jen. Yeah.
And that's good because a lot of practitioners, they're dealing with their own holidays. They're human too, and they are planning and scheduling and hosting and attending and all of the things. And so basically going ahead and committing on your calendar to dates and times to include any therapy or counseling or special sessions like that you need locks in that commitment so that you can have a smooth transition from 2024 to 2025.
Yeah. We want to be better and we want to be the best we can. We can only work at improving ourselves. And so we need to do that. So go ahead, Karen.
Okay. Retreat for inspiration when and if possible.
Yes. 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 Sometimes it can be really helpful to get outside in nature, for example, and connect in that way.
Yeah, I do every day.
You may have a special place, a special spot, a special trail that you like to walk, or a special place that you like to travel to. And it doesn't even have to be super far away. You don't have to go halfway around the globe. You can if you want to. And if that's your thing and it's not going to break you, like financially or otherwise, then you can do that. But it may help just to get clear, to remove distractions, a place that maybe calms you. I know, for example, I love Sedona. Sedona is my happy place. I will tell.
Yeah.
Karen and I have gone to Sedona.
Right?
Together. Yeah.
I love Sedona, and I have done a lot of healing in Sedona just throughout the time that I've been going up there. And I remember one year, actually, it was at the beginning of 2020. I did a solo retreat where I went up to Sedona by myself and I went to gather spring water. But even before that, as soon as I drove down the road and when I see those red rocks, it's just like this sense of calm just comes over me every time. It never fails. Just in nature, I scheduled a hike and ate some really healthy plant-based food at some of my favorite local cafes. And
we did have a lot of that there.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that one.
Yeah, she took me to places where I had food that I'd never tried before.
It's really?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but I love that place. We go there every time after. We used to go to the retreat every year, and I love the food they have there because it's super healthy. And it's yummy.
Yeah, I have a local nature where I like to pray every day and spend time because it's close. Doesn't take up a lot of my time, but I did notice that if I get in a really bad headspace and I do get out of town, even if it's to see family or just get away, it really helps my mindset so much. It might be hard to get to that point, but it always just gets you away from the stresses of where we live. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but
see, and it doesn't even have to be anything big. It could be like, for me, I garden. So I have a lot of gardening spaces in my backyard. And so for me, it could be as simple as, hey, mom's gonna go out in the garden for a couple hours. Do not disturb. Like, y'all take care of the dog. I'm going to be digging in the dirt and planning for fall, winter, or whatever the case is, whichever season it is. And just the act of digging in the dirt and planting and nurturing life and surrounding myself with nature, breathing fresh air, getting sunshine, just even the physical act of like the bending and the lifting that's involved. I mean, that's movement. And all you need is 20 minutes a day. But I mean, I'll go out in the garden for a couple hours, and it doesn't have to be powerlifting and, 5 cardio classes. I mean, if that's your thing, then great. But like literally just 20 minutes of movement, you can get that just even from doing something like that that slows you down,
Yeah.
but that has you bending and stretching and reaching and grabbing and lifting. And then you're nurturing life, and you're slowing down and being intentional. Where am I going to plant this? What kind of, do I want to make a design here? And surrounding yourself by that can be so healing. And so it doesn't have to be like this big getaway that's super expensive or what have you. If you can't do that or aren't able to or don't want to, it can be retreating into a corner of your home. So there's all kinds of different ways to retreat, but the important thing is to do the one that works for you and that's going to be healing for you.
Yeah. So does that take us into number 8, create a healing space?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Similar to everything we just talked about.
Corner of your home. It could be a specific place that you like to go to in your backyard, or say in your community, or if you like to hike at a mountain area or whatever, or trails.
Some people have like a prayer room and it's in their house, or if they can't get outside, just something that, like, this room is very healing to me. I don't know why I feel very safe here. So, and then I have places outside that I feel safe, but there aren't a lot of places I feel safe. So, yeah.
That's very healing for trauma survivors, having a feeling of safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then number 9, choose a word for 2025. I did that one year. I don't think I did that last year.
That can be a great way to have something to come back to use as kind of a benchmark for your year, or a theme for the year that you can revisit along the way and do a gut check of, okay, how am I doing? Like, am I being intentional? Am I being powerful? Am I being peaceful? And in different situations throughout the year, and give you a focal point so that, and kind of guide you on your path throughout the year. And this year, my word of the year was powerful. So when I would check with myself throughout the year in different situations. And so there were certain times where maybe I felt a little intimidated, and I kind of lowered my voice and I kind of made myself a little smaller. But like, okay, wait, am I being powerful right now? That's not very powerful. Okay, let me straighten up here and let me project and take up more space, in the room. So it's good. It's good to do.
Yeah. I spent the whole year like trying to figure out, like, stay focused on what was important, because there's just too much going on. And so I don't know what my new word would be, but like, I need to focus on my purpose, and I need to stick with that. So that might be more than one word. Anyway, so
the last one is create a vision board, which I've done that before, but I need to update mine.
Yes. I like vision boards, and
I've never done one, I don't think.
You haven't?
I know, actually I did once. I did once, now that I think about it.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, it's kind of combines your creativity. You're getting in your creative bag a little bit, and also getting intentional about what you want to do, but also, as I mentioned before, who you want to become. And so it's a great opportunity to gather images and phrases and different things, to colors, even incorporating colors that really encompass who and what you want to become in the new year, or how you want to move, or in addition to things you want to do or places you want to go. So I had done a group vision board session where I got corkboard and little cutouts, and I brought that home with me. This was from a retreat, but then I turned mine into a digital version on Canva that I just love. And I was able to bring in pictures and things like that. And then I used it as a screensaver as well. So then I can look at it. I've got it on my phone.
Great idea.
It's my background. It's my wallpaper on my phone. So then I can, whenever I'm kind of feeling like a little off balance or whatever, or maybe having a bad day, or need some encouragement, or just to refocus or reground, regroup, I can literally look at my phone, which we're doing anyway.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So you say taking the time to prepare for 2025 is an act of self-care. Is there any gold nugget or of advice you would like to leave for our listeners as they head into 2025?
This year, as it comes to a close, it may be tempting to look at all the things that you didn't do or that you wanted to do but couldn't for whatever reason, and to go into this spiral of self-blaming, shaming, or just getting down and discouraged. And you know what? It's okay. Like, we all have things that we want to do but didn't for whatever reason. And I think, and I mentioned this before, I think that one of the best things that you can do is to make your plans and preparations to set the tone for the upcoming year, and not only make it about the to-dos. We're busy, we're running around, but instead take the opportunity to sit in silence, regroup, and, surround yourself with people that you trust, who have your back and who are there for you, who support you, and be in a safe and positive community, and really take time to think about who you want to become, because there's always going to be things to do or even missed opportunities for getting things done. And I think it's easy to put a lot more emphasis on what we do. What do you do? What do you do? Or what did you do? Or what are you doing right now? Instead of, okay, who are you? Who do you want to become?
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's my big aha moment and big takeaway going into the new year, is really putting more emphasis on who I want to become.
That's great.
Yeah, that's really good.
I always question that. Who am I? After losing my identity, when you're abused, you lose your identity as a human being. And I'm still really working on that. So that is a phenomenal gold nugget. So we just want to thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. Where can our listeners find your materials and podcast? And I think you also offer coaching as well.
I do. And you can find me at lesleycain.com. That's LesleyCain.com. And on social media, I'm at I am Lesley Cain. And you can book a coaching session at closurecoachingsession.com. So that's where you can find me. And I really want to thank you ladies for having me on, and thank you for sharing your lives and allowing me to share mine. And I also want to wish you a very happy holiday season and a very, very happy and healthy new year.
Oh,
yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the podcast and helping us navigate our plans for 2025.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good year.
It is.
It's going to be a good year.
It is, definitely.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good.
Well,
definitely.
definitely.
I will see you at Celebrate Recovery. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go tomorrow.
Okay. I might not be in town. If I get on this flight, I'll be in Pittsburgh with my family. But if not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Safe travels. That is... Ugh, my mother's coming in tomorrow for 2 weeks from the Midwest. And so we're kind of crossing everything that everything goes smoothly, because she's missed the last 2 Christmases with us because she just didn't make it.
And those steps are very practical that people can do to go into 2025. That's why I like that.
Yeah. I try to keep it practical.
People can actually do. Yeah. Like they say they're going to go to the gym. They never do. At least maybe they'll do a few of these 10 things.
Yeah.
They'll get the journal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I may not. I may go to the gym though. All right. Well, take care and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Take care.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Hanging On to Hope. Check out our website, hangingontohope.org. There are resources on there, and if you would like to donate or volunteer, you can do that through our website. We are a brand new nonprofit, so we appreciate any and all support. And we thank you for listening. And until next time, keep hanging on to hope. We are evidence that there is hope and healing for you, and our passion is to help you find it too. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening, everyone.